What's up everybody, you're very welcome along to this very quick transfer roundup video that I've decided to record here because I'm still in a good mood after last night's stream. So I said, hey, let's jump on and do just a quick roundup of the latest stories for those that aren't able to watch the full stream. So let's start off with something that came in towards the end of the stream around this man, Jeremy Doku of Ron. So what we know is that we've known that Liverpool have held an interest in this guy for a very long time. He was shown around Melwood and Anfield when he was 16 years of age, still playing in Belgium at that time with Anderlecht, and he decided to stay there. But Liverpool's interest and tracking of this guy have remained. So the latest story said that Liverpool are looking at him as a potential for next summer, and that Ron are willing to maybe allow him go next summer, but they would like to keep him for the season ahead. So this is one of those that, you know, is frustrating but makes sense at the same time. He had a very good Euros with Portugal. He is a very good player. We have been monitoring for quite a long time. Jeremy Doku, for me, would be a very good piece of business. And waiting a year to do it again makes some sense because our current front three, you know, they're all 29. They're going to be another year further along, and we may know which one they're starting to slow down a little bit, or perhaps which one the club may move on in a year's time. So on the Jeremy Doku stuff, look, it's a little bit frustrating that it isn't this summer. He is a very good player, but the fact that he loves Liverpool and the fact that he plans on, and look, that's what's written in the piece, by the way, is that he's very fond of and likes Liverpool, and that he wants to take that next step after one more year with Ron. So, you know, that's good news and bad news all mixed into one, but the fact that our interest in Jeremy Doku remains, I'm taking as a positive. The next name that I want to have a quick chat around is this gentleman here, Ismaila Sarr of Watford. Reports have resurfaced to suggest that Liverpool are once again linked with the Watford attacking man, and I don't think this is true for a variety of reasons. Firstly, before we signed Diogo Jota, we did inquire about Sarr. We did ask Watford for evaluation, and they did give us a number. If my memory is correct, that number was close to £50 million. But more so, it was how they wanted that fee to be paid. So we know when we signed Diogo Jota, it's believed about £9.5 million of that was paid up front, with the rest of it to be paid over the course of the contract. Same with Thiago, it was £5 million up front, and the rest over the course of his 4 years at Liverpool. Now with Sarr, the Pozzi family decided that they wanted, if they were to lose him, they wanted it all up front. Now add to that the fact that, one, they've come back up to the Premier League, and I don't think they'd want to lose somebody who helped get them back into the Premier League for an unsubstantial amount of money. But secondly, one of the reasons, now it's not the only reason, but certainly one of the reasons Liverpool are looking to bring in another attacking player is because we will of course be two attacking players down when the AFCON comes around. Naby Keita's heading away. I know he's a midfielder, but the main two there will be Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. So although you don't sign players just for a 1 month period, it wouldn't make very much sense to me to bring in somebody who you'd also lose to the AFCON to try and cover the players who are going away to the AFCON. So it's a bit of a mixed bag because yes, he's a good player. Yes, we have been linked with him. And yes, the AFCON shouldn't be the be-all and end-all to a signing, but it wouldn't make much sense to me. So I don't think there's anything to the Sarr stuff. I think it's more probably just old links being brought around again. The next one is the interesting one, the one that we're all keeping an eye on. Saul, where does his future lie? Well, reports from Spain suggest that Liverpool are very close to making an offer for the Atleti midfielder. Manchester United, of course, has been another club linked with him, and another club who are looking to bring in a midfielder. United have also been linked with Ndidi, Camavinga, and somebody else in the past 24 hours whose name eludes me at this particular moment in time. But this is a win-win for me, and the reason I say that is, if we hang off and go for a Renato Sanchez or somebody else, I'm fine with it. If it's a Neuhaus, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with any of the midfield options that have been muted towards Liverpool, as long as it's Jurgen Klopp's decision. Now, what particularly appeals to me about the Saul stuff is, we know Atleti brought in Rodrigo de Paul. We know that they probably want about £5 million more than they've paid for him. And we know that the guy has a buyout clause of €150 million, which of course, you know, isn't going to be realistically met by anyone. So 35 to 40 million pounds seems a fair valuation for somebody who is 26 years of age, somebody who has achieved a lot with Atleti as part of their title winning team, very knowledgeable when it comes to the tactical side of the game, very robust, has only missed I think 18 games in the past 5 or 6 seasons, and is a right age to replace somebody as experienced as Gini Wijnaldum. So again, on the face of it, I hope that there is truth to this one, and I hope that Liverpool are getting closer and closer to lodging that bid or to reaching out to his representatives and coming to an agreement, because it's a good signing for whoever makes it, in my opinion. And I do think there's something to it. I don't know how long we may or may not wait, because as I've said on the streams, I think Liverpool are looking to see what the lay of the land is as maybe the end of the window approaches, and as some clubs become a bit more panicky, because Barcelona, Real Madrid, some other clubs around Europe, they need to move players on. They need to free up wages, and I think that's the part of the game that Michael Edwards will excel at, applying that pressure to those clubs when they need. Look, it's, you know, you might think it's morally incorrect, but it's been done to us many times. It's been done to English clubs by Real Madrid and Barcelona over the years, so maybe a taste of their own medicine wouldn't be too bad for them. So on Saul, I hope there's something to it. I do think he will end up in the Premier League by all accounts, by the looks of it, but will it be at Liverpool, will it be at Manchester United? I guess time will tell. I do hope though that there is something to this, because I do like the lad and I do think he would fit in well. The next one I want to have a chat about is apparently a cut price deal on the table for Adama Traore. Wolves wanted about 50 million quid for Adama previously, and now it seems, in the summer where I've told you Wolves are open to moving on a few players, Adama Traore and Ruben Neves were the two names that I've seen and heard that Wolves could be available to do business with this summer. Now, Neves, interestingly enough, is the other player I'd forgotten about with United a minute ago, so he's the other player United are apparently being linked with. Now, here's my fear around Adama Traore. Actually, I've got two fears on Adama Traore. The first one is the end product. Well, the end product, I feel, isn't there yet. It could perhaps be coached there by Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders. And we know about the explosive nature of his play. We've heard Jurgen Klopp describe him as unplayable on his day. And there's certainly something there with Adama. But the big problem for me, and perhaps the reason why Wolves could be willing to let him go this summer, is the shoulder injury. It's been reported that he's had a couple of dislocations of his shoulder in the past year, and more even so over the past couple of years. I think it's been said 5 or 6 times that shoulder of his has been dislocated. So, you know, often at times it suits a club to sell a player, and I wonder if this is suiting Wolves to sell Adama Traore. So I think that we could do better. I don't think he is the right signing for Liverpool in the attacking wide position, although there are a lot of positive attributes to his game. I would prefer somebody a bit less risky, particularly when it comes to injuries, because the last thing that we need right now after the season that we've had is to bring in another player who may be out or may be unavailable because of lingering injury concerns. So, you know, not saying he's not a good player, but just don't think it's the right fit, the right move, or the right time for Liverpool. And the last thing that I wanted to bring up, ladies and gentlemen, is just this, basically. Trust the process, because I think we'll all agree that Jurgen Klopp is no fool. I think we'll all agree, whatever we think of the owners, they're smart businessmen. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want transfers to happen. I do. I don't want this window to shut closed, and I don't want Liverpool to not have added another attacking player and a midfielder, because I genuinely, sincerely believe that we do need them to help us compete across all 4 fronts this season. Now, by trusting the process, what I mean is allow Harvey Elliott to develop. To me, moving Shaqiri on and giving Harvey Elliott some more game time makes far more sense than Shaqiri at 29 getting that game time and Harvey Elliott being sitting around or off on loan somewhere. If we can move Divock Origi on, again, trust the process. Thanks for what Divock did, but I think it is the right time to move him on. And that also frees up 2 overseas places in our squad, which are valuable places. So Origi, if he moves on, and Shaqiri, who has, you know, been reported this week as having told the club he'd like to move on for a new challenge, they would free up 2 squad places for overseas players, which would then allow Liverpool to widen their search of a midfielder and an attacking player, because whatever we think as fans, we do have to understand that there are certain restrictions on clubs of what they can and can't do, and the last thing you want to do is be bringing in a player, let's say somebody from Europe, let's say Saul as an example, and then fighting to free up squad places to have to move players on too cheaply, or letting other people know that you're desperate. The very thing that I spoke about at the start that I think we're waiting to do with other clubs. So trust the process basically means, I know it's difficult. I'm not the biggest fans of the owners in every sense either, but what I do think is Jurgen Klopp is no fool. Michael Edwards is one of the best in the business at what he does, and my gut tells me, and it is only my gut, as big as it is, it tells me that we have a couple of twists left in this transfer window, and that by the time it shuts closed on 31st of August at 11 p.m, I believe, I think that we'll be better off than when we were when the window started. But I know it's easy me saying that. But don't lose the minds just yet, folks. Try and stay positive, and if nothing else happens between now and the end of the window, which I think it will, we're still going to go into next season with a pretty good squad, and we will be challenging. So I guess this is just my little rallying call to say I know it's frustrating, but keep the heads for now, and let's see how the window develops. So look, I'll be back with another one of these really soon. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Reds.